Hi, and welcome back to another episode of aNERDspective, where I, Tony from aNERD Gallery, sit down with friends all over the world to talk and to learn new perspectives around Indonesian textile arts. And today I'll be talking to Nidiya Kusmaya, who, like me, has been straddling between art and science, and she specializes in natural dyes. Without further ado, sit back, relax, and enjoy Nidiya's aNERDspective. Okay, thank you, Nidhi, for joining aNERDspective today. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. How's life in Sukabumi?
Well, actually, it's less rush rather than in the big cities. So it's more chill here. So many. I met like my old friends from school and stuff. It's kind of more like feeling like nostalgic back home. So
Oh,
yeah, it's quite
very,
nice.
very nice. And yeah, so I actually saw one of your latest exhibition, Berburu and Meramu, and I thought the concept of your work is like really interesting, which we'll get into it in a little bit more. But first, maybe you can introduce yourself, like who Nidhi is and your journey in exploring textiles and natural dyes.
Well, actually, I'm not really defining myself as, like artist or maybe like designer or researcher. So I'm doing a little bit of that. So from my, well, actually, if we refers to, I'm graduate from art school, fine art, so from textile and tradition department. So people often call me as a textile artist, but myself, I'm not really, like kind of specific have a specification for myself. So I because in my opinion, art and science is quite the same things. So yeah, you can call me anything actually, like ex designer, ex textile designer, but I'm the one that's working with colors actually. Yeah.
Okay. Is there like your primary focus to explore colors?
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Oh, yeah, especially
Sorry.
in natural material.
Which schools were you from again?
Oh, I graduated from Bandung Institute of Technology
Okay.
from Textile Craft and Tradition Department.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
And then why textiles?
Textiles, in my opinion, textiles is not just a piece of clothes. I mean, it's it's also not just a piece of art or technology. It's like a little bit of everything as well. Like myself, it's more like you can have a journey back in time when you're like exploring textile, and maybe you can also like thinking about the future with just textile, and also it has like really close related to us as a human being because it's like our like a I mean like the basic needs of human being with textiles. So it's really interesting, like in so many aspects you can learn anything from textile, not just the art side or maybe scientific side. It's also tradition and culture itself, so many layered things, in textile. So it's so many things that we can explore through textile. That's why I really interesting and always excited with textile, because every time I learn about textile, it's always something new comes up, and it's really exciting for me. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess in two broad categories of your work is one is on the materials explorations as well as natural dyes. Probably we can start with the natural dyes first. How uh, you kind of like explore into it and how you develop your practice there.
Actually, it started accidentally. No, not really accidentally. I learned it at school first.
Mhm.
Uh, it's also, like working with natural dye, that's some kind of level, like the colors they created from natural materials is really interesting for me because it will achieve, some form of uniqueness in it that cannot be achieved by any kind of materials, or maybe like synthetically or man-made things. There's something, and because you're not really sure about the materials and so many aspects in material itself. So it's really interesting to explore with, and also always has the feeling that during, like when I'm experimenting, the feeling of like travel make me, thinking like travel back in time when the old master painting make their own pigment for their art and stuff. Like I'm just kind of always curious, like were they feeling the same, or the excitement, discovering or finding the new things, like formulation and stuff. They're always really interesting to explore. And also I knew, and I can learn a lot of things from that, not just like the color itself, but also, yeah, from the materials and the relationship with other people just through colors.
Mhm. Yeah, and it seems that that is the narrative that you kind of like put forth in the latest exhibitions, like all the different learnings, not just the technical aspects of colors, but also like the different stories that you want to highlight in your latest exhibition entitled Berburu and Meramu. Well, I guess literally translated to hunt and to
Yes,
formulate.
exactly. Yeah. Yes. And food gathering, it was like back in, like the age of the hunting age and the food gathering age, when people just have like limited knowledge about materials around them, and just like searching to find a new form of, I mean, like not just for the food, maybe for colors also and stuff. So it's just like the same jungle in a different era. I mean, we live also like I just kind of think it that way. So I also like hunting new materials, and also make a formulation, and gathering so many materials and stuff, and making things like the new alternative for textile coloring technique and stuff. Also, myself has limited knowledge about science, actually, because I'm not, having no background at all in science. But through this color, I learned a lot of about science as well, and I really really like it. So I feel like I'm a caveman who's trying to explore surrounding, like my surrounding neighbor here, and find new things.
First, what is like the motivation behind this exhibition?
Well, actually, the first thing that crossed in my mind, because my hometown here, uh, because it's my first time. I mean, like I never have an exhibition in my hometown. So behind this exhibition, my motivation is to show like you can do many things with materials in your surrounding, because there's, like some of people just really like to keep in their, stay in their hometown, not really uh, going around or exploring things. But and some of people just like have no change to go to the, I mean, like going places and stuff, and there's no reason uh, for them to not doing things. I mean, like we have a lot of things to explore as well here in our neighbor and stuff. So there's a kind of like, oh yeah, we should act together, especially in the pandemic, situation like this. You can do so many things, actually. Like just look around in your surrounding, and you can make your artwork, your scientific research, or anything you want to make. Yeah.
And how's the response from the
It,
audience?
it's really good. Actually, it's beyond my expectation, because I'm not really sure that people will understand, because our hometown is not really like an artsy town. It's more like kind of, like regular, like suburban things. There's some farmer just live here and stuff, so they're not really understanding the art. But because I bring the issue of like the food and just the color itself, so it's just like closely related with every people, I think. So it's kind of easier for them to I mean, to understand what I'm delivering. And then also as simple as oh, we the interesting, like want to make something, like I want to make something like the same from the food they eat, or maybe they just like wanna try to do some dyeing, you know, some exploration in dyeing stuff, or just simply as I really want to dye my curtain or something like that. But it's a really interesting
Mm.
response. Yeah.
Is it the first kind of like art exhibition in Sukabumi?
Uh, and not really the first, but actually, like the painting, we have some local painter and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, like the more conventional art, or
Art,
maybe
yeah.
like wayang.
Mm.
Yeah, that we have all of it, but in more like conceptual art, a little bit, yeah, more conceptual. It's not really, you know, it's not going around in the town. Yeah,
I
yeah, it's
see.
kind of, yeah. There's some people also have like art residency program, because they're interesting into like the kind of suburban things stuff here, but not but the way I'm doing it is more like inclusive, not really like exclusive things. So many people could join, or doing like the online discussion and stuff. And also the material I'll use is like the very, like daily life, they could find it in their home and stuff. So it's, people, more people could join and easily understand what I'm doing.
Yeah, I am very I would say I'm relatively ignorant of the art scene in Indonesia. I know like the bigger hub like Jogja, Bali, and
Yeah,
Bandung. Yeah, but all these different places like Sukabumi and our friend Jatiwangi, who I just
yeah,
knew through a collaboration with our e-residency. Yeah, so yeah, I mean it's encouraging that people in different cities like come with different concepts and how to appreciate art.
yeah, yeah. It is really interesting. The response is, like it's a bit different from the big cities, but that's really interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. And uh in terms of there are a lot of like different artworks that I see from the videos. What is your creative process like from ideation to execution or finding materials? How do you process that?
Actually, it's not like overnight idea. Actually, it's more like the process. I At the first time, I don't know, like I will end up here as well, but I just believe in something that I really liked and what keep me excited about. So, and colors is one of them. And when I'm making colors, it's just like always make me happy. Because like, yeah, I met with a lot of people, learning different culture and stuff. So from the ideation, like I always pick something that are really close related with me. That's so many people understand, but because they're just so the regular things in our daily life. So many people just overlooked it, not really put the interest or something like that. But from that process, like gathering the household waste, meeting with the person in some traditional market, that, the owner of the veggies and the fruits shops, or maybe just the farmer itself. They sometimes curious about what I'm doing because I just like collecting their waste, their
Trash.
garbage, yeah, their trash, and just like, what are you doing? Like, what will you do with that old trash and stuff? Sometimes like people thinking I'm super weird that I collecting stuff like that. But when like show them what I'm doing, they're really interesting and they're really glad to work together. Like they just put, and maybe they help me gathering something, and the process itself, it's so, because there's so many response I get from so many people, and with different perspective, they think it was like the gross thing to do. I mean, yeah, but when I show them, it's really nice thing to show them as well. Or sometimes I give them the textile that I made from their waste, and they really appreciated it. Yeah, yeah.
What materials do you use? I mean, so you dye yarns and cloth, is that?
Yeah. I collected some materials from backyard, for example, like from the
Mhm.
fallen leaf, the twigs, and the grasses and stuff from agriculture waste, or maybe from the waste that supermarket produce, like from the expired meal, for example, expired soybean, and I
Okay.
can use it as a mordant as well.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I gathered that. Sometimes I extracting the color from the fruit or the veggies, or it's as simple as the restaurant waste or cafe, like like the tea ground or also the coffee ground. They still have some colors left in
Mm,
that. Yeah,
mm.
and also yeah. I just extracted. Traditionally, I mean, like conventional, like using just kitchen instrument, and yeah, I just make colors out of it.
By kitchen instruments, what do you do with them? So,
I can just like boil them. Well, actually, there's so many techniques we can use in
mm,
extracting process, and one of the easiest way is just use water, or maybe just the rainwater is the best rather than just tap water here because so many
really?
chlorine. Yeah,
Ah,
chlorine.
okay.
Yeah, and stuff. So I collecting the rain
Oh,
water sometimes, or maybe I have a pool. Pool, no, not really pool. It's like a pond.
okay.
Yeah, yeah. I collected water also from there, and then boil it. Sometime I just boil it and strain it. Just make coffee or tea and dye my stuff. Yeah.
Mhm. Nice. Well, because collecting rainwater is illegal in Singapore.
Oh, I see. Why? Or maybe it's like a chemical things that I don't know. We don't know if maybe like someone planted something in the cloud and you just collecting it, and it's just like spreading the new kind of virus.
Yeah, we don't know. Like one of those, uh, Singapore as the fine city. Yeah. So,
That's
yeah.
interesting.
So, what was the most interesting uh materials or like source of colors? Any
That
particular food or fruit or?
Oh yeah, the I really like for now I really like to experimenting with black colors.
Mhm.
Yeah, so it's kind of it's I don't know how to describe it. Because in Indonesia, in some tribe, it's it's considered like the sacred color things, and then some of the tribe is just like already lost like how to make the good like good technique in making black dyes. So I kind of searching like the particular plants that uh historically like they made colors out of it, in especially in West Java here.
Oh.
So yeah, that's really interesting thing because every time I travel around Indonesia, like black color always considered as a sacred one. I also like searching like, uh, is there any particular technique in my own region? I mean, in West Java for black color, for example. So it's really interesting. Now I met uh, and we'll do some collaboration with uh, Jatiwangi art, and also they consider also the same things with the black colors and stuff like finding material. So yeah, when I ask people also about the historical about the black colors and stuff in our region, yeah, it's rediscover so many
Mhm.
interesting like past history and
Nice. Is there any particular sources that you have found so far that can give black?
yes,
Uh,
from you mean like the plants and the
yeah.
materials itself? Yeah, we can make it from tea
Mm,
because yeah, so many tea plantation in West Java,
mm.
and also from Malacca. I don't know Malacca. I don't know in English. It's just like the grapes, like a green
Okay.
one,
Uh,
but the leaf is just like a peanut leaves, like a
okay.
tamarind tree. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah, it's something like
Okay.
that. Yeah, but the plantation also they found it a little bit, like in the forest and stuff. Yeah. So I also ask some people sometimes. working in the plantation and stuff, asking them, if you find this tree, yeah, could you please bring it to me and stuff, yeah. And then something, or maybe from my journey to the East Indonesia and stuff, meet with the weavers and natural dyers from villages. I always ask to them like, and I bring some materials and to compare and stuff. Yeah.
Well, it seems that you can work with any materials. Is there any particular materials that you avoid?
So far I avoided like the one that are not really highly available, like cendana, for example. Yeah. In particular, like the expensive wood.
Yeah.
Yeah, they still sell it like Indonesia, like illegally and legally, but it's better for me to avoid it. I mean, yeah. Sometimes, I did a little bit of experiment, like using the leftover materials from the expensive wood and stuff. But for daily activity or my daily dyeing activity, I'm not really. I'm just kind of avoid it like that. The expensive food.
Yes, definitely. One is definitely the cost
Yes, yeah.
and come with the scarcity of the materials.
Yeah.
And I want to talk a little bit more about maybe a couple of artworks. The one that caught my attention was the I forgot the title, but it's like the wall of the food diary.
Yeah.
Yes. And then you say, you were like doing a residency overseas, and there was like
Yes.
one that was pizza color, but there was like leftover pizza. Probably you can share a little bit more about that piece, how you ended up
With that,
doing.
yeah. Well, actually, it's not really like the leftover pizza, but it's like the fresh test, but the fresh dress while we're making the pizza. I mean, the leftover material. Yeah, sometimes people thinking like, "What, the pizza? Yeah, we could like grow some bacteria and make colors out of it." But the one particular that I made, like the everything on the menu, that's the title. It was my first residency actually in 2016. Yeah, I was doing the residency in Iceland, in Blondus. So my proposal was like, I'm a tropical girl, I said. I really want to challenge myself, like finding the natural source and new natural one in, like strange environment that I never been at. I'm just like curious what can I produce like during my stay there. So I went there for like a couple months there during the summertime, and in my head during the summertime there will be like so many flowers and stuff that growing there, but they just like vanish into weeks, and I have no idea what I should do there. And I'm not the one that using natural dye. Also, that three others artists also using the natural dyes, and they are from Europe. They already knew like what kind of plants. I have nothing. I have no idea about the plants in Arctic region specifically. So I have no idea. So which one is poisonous? Like which one is protected? Because they really protect their environment, because it's really hard to grow plants there. So I decided to collecting just food waste in my town, the little town in the north. It's just like a few houses there and a cafe and one supermarket. So I asked them, and especially my artist friend from the residency, from the office, to collecting their own, like food waste. I collected every day, and every 2 weeks when people like clean up the refrigerator, I just like the one who excited the most. Like, oh, it's my materials. I'm like literally looking forward and collecting what kind of materials I can find, like while cleaning the refrigerator. So yeah, I made a lot of formulation, from the food waste that we produce, like in daily. So it's really interesting. Like when we go picnic, for example, we ate a lot of like oranges, or maybe make some rhubarb jam and stuff. So I can like make my own diary, like what we ate today, what we are doing and stuff. Yeah. So it's like more like our diary. Simply, I kind of decode our daily lives, just simple, like in a color. Yeah.
Mhm. And that is the leftover fresh waste
Yeah.
that they discard after they cook, right?
Yeah. And some of them, like, yeah, sometimes it's just like not just the good one, because in some cases the spoiled one I still uses, but it's better to use a bit more fresh. I mean, like material stuff, but since yeah, it was like cooler environment there, so the food waste is not easily spoiled. But yeah, so it's like really nice experiment that I did there.
Oh, how long were you there?
It's more than 2 months.
Oh, okay.
So it's like the transition, the end of summer to the early autumn, but it's like always cold every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, even though they consider it's the hottest summer at the time, the hottest summer they say like it's just like 10 degrees or like 11 degrees. Yeah, it's just weird because I'm so cold, and people, especially because we live in the north, it's just the wind is so harsh, it's even colder. And the Icelandic people, they're just wearing t-shirt because it's summer and it's so crazy and so fun.
Yeah. So that goes the same with the concept for the sayur asam.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
also like some dress from warung Padang, and restaurant, yeah, Padang restaurant and stuff.
Yeah, cause I was thinking, are you like really more of like the leftover food? So you have like the leftover pizza, you blend it and you extract color.
Yeah, well, actually, I did in some of the cases, for particularly, I mean, like the protein and also the carbohydrate base. I I grow bacteria and some microfungus to produce color from the leftover. Yeah, the one that I couldn't die with. I just like blend some of the bacteria and microfungus, and I can collect it and make color out of it.
Oh, during the same residency?
Oh no, it's different. It's more like my research during my
Okay.
master. Yeah.
I see. Okay. I thought you did all of that like
Oh no,
within that 2 months.
oh no. It's just like handful with waste.
Yeah, but in fact, I want to find out more about the biocolors. Like, how do you get started with experimenting with bacteria and fungus?
Well, actually, because I was before my master degree, like when I was just like graduated from my BA program. I'm still like running around in campus, nothing, much to do. I'm still like an assistant professor and stuff. I hang out a lot in my friend's lab. My friends is from biology department and stuff. Yeah. So when I need refreshment from the studio, I always hang out with them, like in the lab and stuff. So one day when I collecting materials in market and stuff, or maybe like from my studio, if I didn't, like wash my uh, clothes or maybe my napkin and stuff after I'm working, because I'm working with a lot of waste. So it's easily get damped and moldy. And when it's moldy, when I wash it, it's really hard to get rid of the mold. So I just having the idea like, oh, why not I making making some colors out of mold, and I bring my dirty napkins to my friends. Can I grow these things on my fabric? So I just like they teach me. They taught me how to grow bacteria, how to make bacteria culture and stuff. So I ended up in a lab, and then one of my professor just saw me like, why to make you that? I mean, like make something out of it and just put in your master degree and stuff. So I applied for master and just like
Oh,
continuing to do that.
oh, interesting. And how do you extract the color? So you just let the bacteria grow on the media, or?
I have some like different technique. Some of the bacteria I extracted, but most of them I just like let them grow in the fabric. I kind of have I control them. I control them. I control them. Like so. Yeah, it's controllable. So I control like the growth of the bacteria itself in like a certain condition and stuff. So just like grow them and then kill them when they produce like the maximum amount of the pigment, just like kill all of them.
Okay.
Yeah. Sterilize it.
Mhm. It's something like baking a bread. So you let it ferment and
It's actually quite the same process. Yeah.
Mhm. Oh, that is very interesting. What sort of colors do you can you pick colors based on the bacteria, or how does that
Uh,
work?
with my limited knowledge back then, I am now, but this the easiest color is like pinkish, a bit purples, and then red colors, yellow and orange, and also brown and black. Yeah, that's the common thing. Like the most easy microorganism, yeah, to taking care of. I mean, yeah. Some of them like produce a really pretty color, but because the bacteria itself is quite dangerous, so with my limited knowledge and stuff back there, so I just choose like the one that harmless for me, so I can do some experiment with it without like even without the proper equipment like in the lab. I doing it at work, at home. I mean, like in my home studio sometimes. And if I need some of the scientist help to extract, or maybe if if I'm facing something they not really understand, I will go back to the lab and ask them how to treat it well. Yeah.
Hmm. Nice. It seems to me that you have, I think, goes back to the beginning when you were introducing yourself. You kind of like uh, have this scientific process mindset in terms of doing research and stuff, but also you have the artistic side that is just carefree and easygoing and just let it be whatever it is.
Yeah, but sometimes it's got me in trouble actually. I mean, like when I hang out with the artist friends, they always say, "Yo, you are so too scientific for us." Like, I mean, like, what you doing? Or maybe it doesn't, like, it's not important things to do and stuff. So the concept is the important, yeah, that's the artistic. When I, hang out with my friend from design field, is if you do just like the artwork, this has no impact. I mean, like the bigger impact and stuff, you should like scaling it up and stuff, so the impact will be like, like many people will feel the impact. And when I hang out with my science friends, it's like, oh my god, you're so like crazy, like what are you doing? So it's in it to be like more scientific and stuff. So it's just like sometimes it just gets me in trouble, but in the same time they make me more closer to them, because they know what my background and the stuff, so they are willing to teach me more and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, likewise. Well, because I used to be a pharmaceutical research scientist.
Oh.
Yeah, and I am doing this.
Impressive.
I'm sorry,
Impressive.
not at all. Yeah, and I'm doing this batik now. Sorry, textiles, and uh, a lot of like my practice has got that uh, similar scientific process in how I approach a research, and also like discovering new ideas that is
Yeah.
very art and conceptual. So yes, definitely
Yeah,
understand you there.
you feel the same way, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the interesting feeling.
Yeah. And the other work that I wanted to talk about is the collaboration with the Jatiwangi, with the clay projects.
It's called from textile. No, from tiles.
From
From
tiles
tiles to
to text.
textile.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I experimenting with the earth pigment actually because they produce a lot of clay. You know, like the different color of a earth they are using for the pottery and also for the roof things,
Oh,
how to
yeah.
call it? Yeah, for the tiles and
Rooftop.
stuff. Yeah. Roof tiles and stuff. So I asking them to give me some of the dirt or maybe the leftover dirt or maybe just anything the pigment they're using from the earth and stuff. So I'm just like kind of experimenting it sometimes. You know, I combine it with the natural dyes from plants, or just I simply use another, you know, mix some of the earth I find here in my region and stuff, and I painting in my textile using that materials.
Can these pigments are they mostly for surface dyeing in, for example, block print and stuff, or you can use it for like textile dip dyeing?
Oh, well, actually, the pigment, like the earth pigment, actually, they are using it for painting, not for dyeing. But
Mhm.
some technique, we can't, because they are not dissolve in water. So they need another solvent to mix, to make it applicable into textile. But some technique, if we are like using the protein to mix with the, I mean, like with the color and stuff, there's some of the technique that we could use. So for this kind of particular like earth pigment, we can actually can dye it with it. Yeah,
I
or
see.
maybe we can use it as the mordant because some of the earth pigment also containing a lot of iron inside them, so we can use it as the mordant for like plant-based pigment and mix them together.
I see. Understand. Uh, I think everyone loves you because when you come, you're just like collecting their trash.
Yes, yes, yeah.
Is
It's
there an
easier for their life.
Yep, exactly. Can you share with us some of the challenges that you have during the course of your work?
Yeah, the collecting part sometimes is really hard because some of the people not really believe in me when I collecting it. That, I mean, for example, that the supermarket I need, because they are, you know, like throw it away a lot of fruit even though the fruit is still fine, you know, just like a little bit, you know, yeah, the grade and just like specifically for, you know, it's not really the one
Yeah.
that suitable sells in a supermarket. So when I want to collect it, they not really believe in me. They afraid that I will sell it again, you know, like somewhere in the town or stuff, even though I, you know, bring the official letter for from my campus or my labs, you know, like explain I'm doing it for research and stuff, but they are not really, you know, believe in me that I will, maybe they're just afraid I will make it into
Mm,
something and sell it
yep.
somewhere and just like cook with it and stuff. Yeah, that one. So I just, so I pick like more like traditional market or maybe like from the farmer itself. And sometimes in some point I need a proper lab to do it, when I need to know like the exact particular formulation or to measure it well, not just like with the kitchen equipment and stuff. You know, sometimes it's hard, you know, it's a little bit expensive to do, but with my connection with university and stuff, uh, yeah, sometimes my professor just let me in to use the lab. But during the pandemic, it's completely closed. Everybody has like limited access to the lab, so I kind of come back with my conventional technique to make my own color. Yeah.
So, do you work in design department or in the
Oh yeah,
science lab?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Because one of the professor from biology, like when I asked how to use like particular instrument, because I have no idea how to use it, and he just said like, "What? You're a biology student, but why you cannot use it like properly? Why it's already, you should know. It's, even like the first, the freshman of the first semester will know how to use it." And I just say, "No, I came from the art and design department," and it's just like, "Oh really?" And they super excited, and just like they just teach me very well.
Nice. Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, I like it that people from other disciplines are very receptive to
Yeah.
whatever that you are doing.
Yeah, even though sometimes I came up with a crazy idea and they think, oh, that's impossible to do here and stuff. But sometimes it's just like follow my, my need. And we just like do a lot of experiment together and comes with like very nice result. And even though there's just a failure at the first, maybe, but it's a really exciting thing to do together. Yes.
Other than showcasing and invoking thoughts through the exhibitions, is there a particular application of your work?
Oh, well, actually, because for the past almost 2 years, I'm joining the biotechnology company, the one that produces mycelium and stuff. Uh, I just doing my artwork, during the weekend or my free time. So it's like more limited for me at the time, to me for doing the artwork. But I did gain a lot of like scientific, scientific things that I, learn a lot from them, like experience from them. So from now, we were working like by project and stuff. So I have more free time, and I really want to produce my works more. So it's more like publicly available. So I hope later, like this year, it will publicly available.
Uh, uh, what sort of
I mean, like the artwork that I make. Yeah.
mm,
So for the past year, I just like doing some commission for particular people, like designer and stuff. But now, because people a little bit curious about my textile and stuff, I also wanted them, like is the thing like more approachable for like diverse, like more bigger audience and stuff. I really wanted it. I mean, like a little bit to scaling it up and make it like publicly available for people as well.
are you referring to kind of like selling I don't know,
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah, yeah, yeah.
textiles or
Yes.
as a fashion, like an aprons or as an artwork?
Uh, I'm working in both. Some like for the artwork things and some for like the textile, just like general textile. Yeah.
You mentioned a little bit about your residency abroad, and I believe you have a few other residencies overseas.
Yes.
And other than natural dyes, you also like do surface exploration and material exploration. Maybe can you share a little bit some interesting collaborations that you have with while working overseas with overseas collaborator?
Oh, and that was it was during the Dutch Design Week in 2018. So there's 5 teams. So five designer and five designer slash artists from Indonesia, also from the Netherlands. So we team up together. So my team were from Mycotech Lab, the one that produced mycelium leather, and also Iwan Pool. He has a studio make tiles as well with concrete with happy color. He said, and also Karin, she explored textile with technique that like the new technique of heat binding. So you don't need to sew or make, using zipper. It's like zipperless, or not really need to sew it to join it together. And me make the colors, obviously. Make the colors. So we together collaboration using the mycelium leather. I colored the mycelium. Karin will be, like make the purse and make the textile and stuff, and just using her technique to join it, bind it together, make the product. And also even make the tiles from mycelium as well, like the concrete and stuff. I put some colors, like how to paint the concrete, mycelium concrete, but it's from mycelium and stuff. Yeah, and also, yeah.
So
It's
actually
really
the same
interesting.
starter, but
Mhm.
they give like two different texture.
Texture,
One
yeah.
leather, another one concrete.
Yeah, and also tiles. Yeah, it's really interesting. And also one that I really interesting, the interesting collaboration I did with, actually it's with ceramic department in also in from Bandung Institute of Technology. So we make, our inspiration was like from the kintsugi, the cracking, with the golden joining and technique and stuff. So we just find out, because we has like positive response from my artists and scientists friends from Japan, because they said it's kintsugi, like kintsugi technique in ceramic, but I use the real kintsugi because I bind it and like grow the microfungus, from the crack, because kintsugi in Japanese means the technique in joining ceramic, and also means like microfungus. So so it's like whoa, you make the kintsugi using kintsugi. Yeah. So we have no idea at the first time, but yeah, when like we had some like positive response, like, oh, it's really interesting because you make kintsugi using like the real kintsugi. So yeah, that's really also interesting, but because we have no idea like what's the meaning of the words and stuff. Yeah, but when we get the response, it's really nice to us to know.
So you actually like grow the microfungus within the crack to seal them up.
Yes. Yeah. Well, actually, our experimenting begin with how we can make like alternative coloring for ceramic. But when the ceramic is cracked, and and some of the part, and my friend just like say like, oh, can you grow it like in between the cracks, or maybe like filling up the cracks with the mycelium, or maybe like the microfungus? Like, yeah, let's try to do that, and we just like kind of do that. Yeah, did that.
Oh, okay. Really, really interesting. In general, how do you observe the way people work overseas in your capacity as artist slash scientist?
Maybe they're more open. That's the one, like the way they're working with it. So they're just like accept me for who I am, and learning each other's and build something new together. And they have like a really nice facilities over there. That's the one thing, like a privilege for them. And also, uh, I just like realizing like how privileged I am, like living in Indonesia with abundance, like a lot of materials, right? Compared to them, that more like they has, especially in particular places or country, they're not really highly available materials, especially like natural materials itself. And then the techniques is quite the same, but there are also the differences, so we can learn it together. But in the term of like conceptual and artistically, like the way the way they think of the materials itself, they will think way more far than just like maybe here in my own town. The way they preserve it as a new materials is easier there. It's more, like it's easier accepted there rather than here in Indonesia at the first time, because I started it in like 2014, with especially with the bacteria, or maybe more like experimental material stuff. They are more open for me to like working within on my idea and their idea, we working together and stuff. But but now here, sometimes in Indonesia also, so many rules in working, especially with tradition. There's some limitation as well. But at the first, I mean, like I kind of crazy doing many things that I just like breaking the rules, especially if I'm working with some people. Yeah, I'm learning actually dying from the people in the village, especially. Yeah, but sometimes I'm just like breaking the boundaries that, yeah. So but the way I know like how to balance it, how to communicate with them, I'm also respect, like my tradition and stuff. So I should find the good balance between the tradition as well, like the technology that I involve, because like so many people not really like it's a new, I mean, like the technology for them is quite new. It's not like not the right way sometimes, like in terms of like the tradition and stuff. Yeah, but they will understand me also. Yeah.
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 Can you give me an example or elaborate more on the so-called breaking boundaries of
For
culture?
example, making the black colors.
Mm-hmm.
If in some places also like making blue from indigo dyes, if like a women during their period they cannot make the colors.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like that. So they just like never like I'm on my period and stuff like that, and just like not letting it me. So I just like are doing it myself, and this is like, no, you can't do that. Like it will, honoring and stuff. Like at the first time, I have no idea like why they didn't let me do it, and when they just because I have no idea there's such a rules like that. So, but when they told me that, or oh yeah, I understand, I'm honoring that. An example for the making the black color, the wood, I cannot like step it into it. I cannot put it in the ground, or yeah, something like that, or just like because I'm thinking it's just a material, or just like put it in the ground, or maybe just yeah, because I have no idea such a thing like that exists. So sometimes like the senior, the grandma from the household just like mad at me because like, no, you cannot put that food in the ground or something like that, or maybe you should honor that food and stuff. So yeah, there's some rituals I should do before I make colors and stuff. So yeah, that's the first time I met them. But for now, we just like met every year and stuff. We just like family, and they know me, and this just really support me with what I'm doing. Yeah, but I need like the good time to explain to them as well, and also they also teach me the way they make it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, that is a very good observation, I must
Yeah.
say, in terms of like uh honoring culture and
Yes.
tradition, but also there is a certain space that uh it will evolve in the
Yeah.
contemporary settings, and yeah, I think is
Yeah.
the conversation is very important in order
Yeah.
to understand each other.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's so different, because they just freshly came out of the abroad, and it just like back in Indonesia and working in a village. It's just like completely like 100. I mean, like it's completely different things. I mean, just like, oh yeah, it's just yeah. I mean, one more easy and stuff. But when like coming back here, especially in the tribe, yeah, you should learn the new things. Yeah.
Mhm. Okay. Yep. Uh, we are almost towards the end of our conversation. Can you give us a little bit of a preview of the upcoming projects that we can expect from Nidi?
Oh, upcoming projects.
Yeah.
I'm
Or what
working.
are you working on right now?
I'm working on with some not really new materials, but it's more like specific. I'm also with collaboration with Jatiwangi Art. That one, we will work with like specific with the herbs, for example, like a jamu kind of materials things. Yeah, maybe that's best I can tell. But yeah, I'm doing yeah such a collaboration project with them. It's such an interesting things. Let's just like stay tuned to see.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's really interesting because also learning about new culture here as well. I mean, like the how the spices and the herbs from Indonesia involved with it, the culture and also like technology and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, that will be very, very interesting to look forward to. And final, final questions. If can share final thoughts or closing remarks to sum up today's conversation.
Uh, Maybe just like do whatever make you happy. Yeah, yeah. I mean, uh, we just need to pay attention more with our surrounding, and like more, be more observant and with see things with different perspective. No, not just judge the materials or something that we're already familiar with as such as an ordinary things. You could find something new out of it, and you can make anything actually, like with the materials, even from your bedroom, start from your kitchen, your yard or something. You can make anything out of that, and like utilize it to the fullest and be respectful with your neighborhood, your tradition. Actually, it's really, yeah, I feel like I'm so privileged that I born here with like such a rich culture and also rich materials that I will learn, a lot from. Yeah, just and also keep excited. I think that's the important thing, because some of the people, especially like younger generation, they're also excited at the first, just in the beginning, and then they're just like, it's too hard, or you have to be more like resilient to it. Yeah, you will facing like so many failure in your life and stuff, but you should like keep on the pace that you know that makes you happy. I mean, like when you need break, just take a break, but don't lose your excitement to do things, because that the thing that you will do like for whole life. So just be happy to doing things.
Yes. Yeah. On that note, yeah. Thank you so much. I think you point out a very good message in terms of like being aware of your surroundings, being aware and to question, and everything starts from home. We can start small from
Yeah,
home. Yeah. Mhm.
yeah, I agree with that. Yeah,
All right. Thanks again, so, Nidhi, for sharing with us today.
yeah. Thank you
Thank you so
for.
much for watching or listening to today's episode of aNERDspective. I hope you had as much fun as I did. And if you like this interview, do check out our previous chat with other guests over on our IGTV or on our website. And do follow us across our social media at aNERD Gallery on Facebook and Instagram to find out what's happening next. And until next time, stay safe and take care.